Welcome to Ultimate Survival Gear. Today, as you guys can see, I have yet again something from Viktos. Let's open up the box and see what we got, because these are the very popular Viktos Overbreach. And yes, they are in my favorite multicam black. Check this out. Currently $125 on Amazon. The link is in the description below. Overall, I am very happy with these boots, shoes, depending on from which angle you are looking at. They're not waterproof. They don't really offer much of the variety of the terrains that you can throw them on, because the outsole is quite flat, but overall the comfort level is very good. They are very lightweight. The fabric is very interesting in these. We'll talk about all of the details later, but overall, if you are looking at them and you do prefer a wider toe box, I think you're gonna appreciate this overall. So far I've been testing them for the past couple of weeks on my range, doing some live fire drills, doing some hiking around here in the forest, in the woods, and overall I am very happy with these. So let's start with the very first criterion that we judge everything on this channel by. Well, not everything, whenever it comes to shoe wear: comfort level. So overall, like I said, the comfort level is pretty good of these boots. The very first thing, probably number one, that contributes to the comfort level here is the weight, because they are very, very lightweight. Let's see exactly how light they are. Should be, if I'm anywhere close, sometimes I just guess correctly, 13.3 ounce. That's what I say. Let's see. Somewhat close, but even better, 12.7. 12.7 ounce. For a mid-sized boot, that is extremely impressive. So if you are getting these for really your range day, because this is what they are made for. Honestly, I'm really excited about the whole idea of having a range dedicated boot, a range dedicated shoe. If that's what you're getting, if your range day involves a lot of running around in a very hot weather with potentially getting wet, you're gonna appreciate this. But as far as the comfort goes, the lightweight, yes, very, very lightweight. Now, let's take out the inner sole and I'll show you what it looks like. Because the inner sole here is actually very, very good. Check this out. First of all, you do have plenty of cushioning from this. This is very, very good. Now, if you do prefer some distinct arch support, some distinct heel pad, you're definitely gonna appreciate this inner sole as well, because as you can see, it does provide it. But here's the thing: once you remove this inner sole, it goes into this very nice jelly layer that does add additional cushioning. Overall, you do have some padding at the top of the shaft. There is no padding at the tongue, but again, it's done to save the weight. And throughout the whole shoe, you do have overall pretty soft feeling. So comfort wise, very, very good. Let's move on to the criteria number two now: proofing and protection. Now, proofing wise, this is not a waterproof boot, all right? Now, the fabric is advertised as water resistant, which I would not necessarily agree with. Let's just say that. Don't get me wrong, the fabric that was implemented here is actually really, really good. It's NIR, NICO. So near infrared, yes, a blend of nylon and cotton, and it is a ripstop. So it's gonna last you for a long time, all right? The fabric itself, I mean, I don't know about the outsole, we'll find out. But whenever it comes to the fabric, yes, it will last you for quite a long time. And yes, you do have near infrared compliant boot. How cool is that? Yeah, that is pretty cool. But here's the thing: because it is a blend of nylon and cotton specifically, cotton does tend to absorb water quite quickly. So water gets on this boot, it gets wet pretty quickly. Here's the good news, however, and I think Viktos has done a really good job implementing this, is they do have the drainage vents implemented, which is really, really smart. So all of the moisture that is absorbed, all of the moisture that will inevitably get in, because there is really not much of the clearance that you have. I mean, it is about, and I mean, this is really not, I wouldn't necessarily call it clearance, because it's really a mesh over here. The gusseting is a mesh. So the water will get in. If you're crossing the creek, if you're stepping over a puddle of about 2 inches deep, the water is gonna get in, all right? And it will get in regardless if it touches this fabric in the first place. But it will drain. Here's the thing, however, a little bit of a downside to this, because there is this jelly cushioning that is implemented. It does soak in some water. So overall, the boot dries pretty quickly, except for this yellow jelly cushiony thing. So Viktos, I think that might be a next update for the generation 2, is to perhaps implement more cushioning into the inner sole and get rid of that yellow, which honestly I do like for comfort. Don't get me wrong, I love that yellow thing for the comfort because it adds additional layer of cushioning and it does feel really good. But it does absorb water as well, so drainage is not as effective as it could have been. Now, protection wise, like I said, this fabric is very unique. I personally have not seen a boot before with, maybe I've seen and maybe I really never paid attention, something that is near infrared compliant and something that is ripstop. So take your, for example, Cordura, something that is very popular, used in a lot of military combat clothing, accessories, backpacks, plate carriers, pouches, all of that sort of stuff. This is what you have essentially here in this boot. So yes, it does add durability. Protection wise, yeah, not much protection wise from the infrared, from the night vision device, because yes, it's compliant. But as far as impact, you don't really have that much to protect you from the impact. Your ankles are, well, you do have a little bit of padding, but not much. Throughout the whole boot, again, not much. Toe, as you can see, the toe box is really, really soft. And sorry, there you go. The drill that I was doing, it was basically sprinting to the position, getting into the prone position, engaging the thread at different distances, as just seeing how I handle through under somewhat stressful conditions after sprinting, which is really not stressful. It's a range day, enjoying the sunny nice day. But this is the best what we can do when we're not out and doing any kind of fighting. But overall, protection wise, you don't have that much, so keep that in mind. Let's move on to the criteria number 3, quality and the design features. Now, quality wise, this is my second pair of Viktos shoes. These are boots. The previous ones I was reviewing were Viktos range trainer shoes, and yeah, I really enjoyed those too, and these are really good too. We will see how long they last, but like I said, here fabric is a huge plus. What is not a huge plus is the lining, which is not, unfortunately, the real leather, but synthetic leather. So we will see, but I'm suspecting that this is where the problems are going to stop. We will see. I don't know. This is speculation. Don't get me wrong. If you have experience with these boots longer than 6 months or whatever, really, however long you have experience with these boots, input from everyone is welcome. Drop it in the comments below. But let's talk about the design features. Now, one of the things, of course, drainage rings. I already mentioned. Let's talk about the lacing system here. You have five pairs of closed hooks, as you can see, which do have the metal rings in them, so the strings do slide through very easily. That's a huge plus. You do have 2 pairs of open hooks, which again, metal hardware, a huge plus. If you are using these boots for some hiking and you're going up, downhill. I was doing some sprints uphill, so releasing some tension and adding some tension in these, very fast, very easy, huge plus. What is not such a huge plus are the strings, the laces themselves, because they're flat and thin. These are not my favorite. Personally, this is my personal. They contribute to the lightness, but I don't think they contribute to an ease of lacing your shoe, in this case, your boot. But again, it's personal preference. You might appreciate it. Let's move on to the criteria number 4, outsole, traction and stability. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, this is where things get a little bit more personalized, because if you plan to implement these more than just being out on the range, doing a few drills on the range, perhaps implementing some rocks, some hiking, and you do need a little bit more aggression in the outsole, you might be a little bit disappointed in this, because as you can see, it is pretty flat. So on surfaces like wet grass, muddy surfaces, even on sandy surfaces, it performs well if it is flat, leveled. But if you're going uphill on the sandy surfaces, this does get pretty slippery. So keep that in mind. Not a bad outsole, don't get me wrong. It performs great on a lot of different terrain. You know, on gravel, it performs fantastic. It performs great on flat, shiny surfaces. But on wet grass, sandy, you might find it a little bit slippery. So keep that in mind. Let's move on to the criteria number 5 now. Sizing and fitment. These are true to the size. I do want to point out that these are more for people that do prefer a wider toe box, because this toe box is quite spacious, as you can see. Also, I wanted to mention, you probably noticed it yourself, the shape of the toe box is quite interesting, and it's the shape of the toe box in combination with the outsole. As you can see, the outsole kind of has a little bit of, I did not notice any issues with this. Again, so don't think that I'm complaining about it. But it is particular, sorry, immigrant here. You get the point. It is a little strange, let's just say that. It's shaped a little bit strange. Not bad. Again, I did not notice any issues, but keep in mind. Let's move on to the criteria number 6, application. So, overall, if you are getting these boots for a hot day mission that you're probably gonna get your feet wet and wet feet, that you're going to be not on a slippery terrain, no wet grass, perhaps flat sandy surface, that would be fine. No hills, unless you're walking through the forest, which I've done, and it's not bad at all. Unless you're walking on some dry foliage, in that case you might slip. Anyway, you figure it out. You be the judge. It is overall pretty good, but it does have very specific application. For just a range day, on the hot day, this is a really cool show-off shoe. Yes, multicam black already says it all. Near infrared, that says even more. Nike ripstop, that says a whole lot more. All right, and just having a specific range day shoe, that says quite a lot. So as a fancy factor, yes, but as far as the applications go and where you're going to be using it and the variety, keep that in mind. Let's move on to the criteria number 7. Price tag, $125 currently on Amazon and on Viktos website. I'll put the links for both in the description below. Sometimes prices are better on the official websites, they have certain promotions. Sometimes prices are better on Amazon, wherever you like to shop. I think $125 is definitely on the pricier in this particular case. You're getting mid-size shoe, which is, don't get me wrong, just the quality of the fabric, thumbs up. But it's not waterproof. Yes, you have the drainage vents, but they're not working as well as they could because, well, there's a material that soaks in the water. So that's a little bit of a kind of, you know, that brings the score a little bit down. It's super lightweight. So if you like something, you know, I was doing sprints and this is like the best thing to do sprints in. Perfect. You know, it's super light. You don't even feel like you're wearing anything, and you do have sufficient protection from the outsole. Yes, it is flat. Yes, it does not give you a lot of, you know, traction on some of the slippery terrain, but whenever it comes to protection, it does the job very, very well. This is quality rubber. Also, I think it's only like 4 millimeter heel to toe drop, so barely any drop. It's pretty much flat. Again, this might be quite appealing to somebody because yes, it's more designed with the comfort, long day out, hot day out in mind. If that's what you're looking for, yes, you might appreciate it. But keep in mind, for $125, there is quite a lot of competition in that price range. Waterproof competition, mid-size, outsole that will handle on the variety of different terrains. So perhaps not near infrared compliant or not with a Nyko ripstop. So yeah, and perhaps not in a multicam black. Can't beat multicam black. So just for the multicam black, honestly, it is worth the price. I know I didn't make it easy as usual at the very end of this review. But hey, if you're still shopping around, there's a lot of reviews, a lot of options that I have reviewed on this channel. If you found this review helpful, let me know in the comments below. Some good words of encouragement are always appreciated. If you have any requests for reviews, again, drop them in the comments below and I'll try to address it. So thank you very much for watching. God bless, and I'll see you all in the next video.